broadcast may contain reality. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello, Sam. Welcome back to What's Going On, where the news just hits different because we actually pay attention. We're the only news segment that feels like a group therapy session where the therapist is also screaming, "I'm your host, Jewel Claxton." And listen, if you felt like the world is giving season finale energy, you're not alone and you're not wrong. Because this week, we got government shutdowns dragging like a bad relationship, war tensions rising like gas prices, protests worldwide, and the economy doing the electric slide backwards. Look, I know the world is currently a burning dumpster fire floating down a flooded river, but we're here to find the haha and the holy crap. If you're currently listening to this while hiding in your basement from a cicada variant or waiting 8 hours for a TSA pat down, welcome home. We've got a lot to unpack, guys, so let's dive into the chaos before the grid goes down again. Well, before we start, breaking news, breaking news. This just in. TSA agents are now working on vibes, prayers, and delayed paychecks. The economy has entered what experts call don't look at your bank app mode, and gas prices are now officially in their villain era. Stay tuned, it gets worse. And now, starting with local and national chaos, the No King Chronicles. Yes, guys, let's start right at home with random domestic drama. A former governor arrested, lawsuits flying, and the justice system doing what it does best, moving slowly, dramatically, and, you got it, publicly. Our local news for this week is dominated by three things: no DHS, no kings, and no governor. Because America is currently running on stress, confusion, and expired funding bills. DHS shutdown week 5. So yes, guys, we are now in week 5 of the DHS shutdown. That's not a shutdown anymore. That's a lifestyle. If you're at Baltimore or Houston airports, I hope you brought a sleeping bag and a hobby. Security delays are hitting 8 hours. At this point, it's faster to just mail yourself to your destination via FedEx Ground. At least you'll get a tracking number and a cardboard complimentary box to sit in. Travelers are reporting 4 to 8 hours TSA lines, security held together with duct tape and determination, and agents basically saying, take your shoes off or don't. We don't even know anymore. And I'm sure you guys heard about the No King protests. So meanwhile, with these No King rallies, they have hit 3,000 locations, guys, from LA to Minnesota. People are out there reminding the administration that king is a title best reserved for Elvis and LeBron, not politicians. In California, the LAPD is making arrests near federal prisons, which is convenient. Saves everyone the commute. When the whole world is outside at the same time, you know something is off. And in Kentucky, former Governor Matt Bevin was arrested for contempt of court over a money fight with his son. Family dinners must be electric at that house. Pass the potatoes and my inheritance, please, or I'm calling the bailiff. And that brings us to our first commercial break. Work from home forever. With gas prices rising, why go anywhere? Introducing Stay Home. The lifestyle where pajamas are business casual, your commute is 6 steps, and traffic is your Wi-Fi acting funny. Side effects may include talking to yourself, naming your houseplants, and judging people who leave the house. Stay home because outside is expensive. And that brings us to our international news segment, Global Chaos, but make it funny. Now, let's zoom out because the rest of the world said, oh, America, you seem to be struggling. Same here. Iran conflict. U.S. troops injured, bases hit, tensions rising. And meanwhile, the rest of us are like, can we at least get affordable groceries before World War III? Internationally, the Middle East is doing the absolute most. The Houthis have officially entered the chat with missiles, and Iran has declared the Strait of Hormuz closed. Yes, I said closed, like a Chick-fil-A on a Sunday. Except, instead of missing out on a chicken sandwich, the entire world is missing out on gasoline. Oil prices are struggling, which is great if you're an oil tycoon. But for the rest of us, it means our cars are now basically very expensive lawn ornaments. And that brings us to the global protests, right? So millions are protesting worldwide. I'm talking London, Paris, Sydney. At this point, it's not a protest. It's a global group project nobody signed up for. And there's diplomatic drama, guys. The UN is arguing again. Countries voting, debates, disagreements, countries side-eyeing each other across the room. Basically, the world leader's version of reply all gone wrong. Meanwhile, there's new alliances forming, old alliances cracking, and everybody pretending to have a plan. In the economy news, or a whole mess, respectfully, we're doing the electric slide into poverty. Now, let's talk about your money, or as I like to call it, the Great Vanishing Act. There's a market meltdown. Nasdaq is down over 10%. S&P 500 dropping for 5 straight weeks. Yes, that's five. At this point, it's not a dip. It's a slide with no brakes. And the gas prices. I take it as a personal attack, to be honest. Gas jumped 14% in 1 week, which means filling your tank now requires budgeting, prayer, and possibly a cosigner. Consumer confidence at a 3-month low because everybody's asking the same question. Do I need gas or groceries or peace? Pick one. And the Fed update. Interest rates pause, but don't get comfortable. The Fed is keeping rates at 3.5%. But they're monitoring inflation. Thanks, guys. I'm also monitoring the fact that a head of lettuce now costs as much as a 2018 MacBook Pro. And with that said, it brings us to our next commercial break. Is the economy doing the cha-cha slide with your bills? Then you need the all-new Economy Survival Kit. For just 3 easy payments of Why is Everything Expensive, you'll get a calculator that just says no, a mirror that reminds you you tried, and a reusable grocery bag with nothing in it. But wait, there's more. Order now and we'll include manifesting rent audio affirmations and a coupon that expires before you can use it. Economy Survival Kit, because budgeting is now a personality trait. And that brings us to the health news because why not add more stress? Measles outbreaks, guys. We've got 1,575 cases of measles. It's 2026, people. We have AI that can write poetry, but we're bringing back a Victorian era disease like their vintage vinyl? Come on now. Lyme disease breakthrough. Vaccine showing 70% effectiveness. I guess that's some good news, I guess. We'll take it. And E. coli alert linked to raw dairy products. So if It says farm fresh right now. Just read that as proceed with caution. And as you guys know, there's a new COVID variant out because of course there is. At this point, COVID variants are also dropping like albums. And with that said, it brings us to our next commercial break. Worried about the BA32 cicada variant? Try the Swarm Mask. It's a mesh face shield that makes a constant buzzing sound so loud that no one, including viruses, will want to come within 6 feet of you. The Swarm Mask. Social distancing via auditory assault. Tested and approved by the CIA MK Ultra program. And now that brings us to the weather news. The earth is just fed up. Hawaii is seeing its worst flood in 20 years. Dams are failing and people are stranded on beaches. Wildfires still burning, still spreading, still ignored until it's too late. Meanwhile, the mainland is in a historic March heat wave. It's 90 degrees in the plains and freezing in the southeast. The weather is literally gaslighting us and emotionally unstable, might I add. And scientists say Arctic sea ice is at a record low. Don't worry though. I'm sure the billionaires will build us some very nice underwater condos soon, once they actually acknowledge the tunnels to get to them. Who said that? And that brings us to the travel news. Don't go nowhere. Just stay home. The airport chaos. 4+ hours TSA waits. Flights delayed. Staff quitting. Travel right now feels like a survival game with luggage. Travel is just a nightmare. TSA officers haven't been paid in 40 days, guys, so they're quitting. If you do manage to get on a plane, jet fuel is up 12%. In the Dominican Republic, they've introduced secure e-passports. Finally, a way for even more government agencies to track my movements with even more efficiency while I wait 4 hours for a Cinnabon in Terminal B. And that brings us to breaking news. Breaking news. There's a global alert. The U.S. issued a worldwide caution, which is basically be careful everywhere. And there's an airfare spike, guys. Flights are expensive. Fewer routes, more stress. Spirit Airlines somewhere like, we warned you. And that brings us to our poll break. You guys know what time it is. It's poll time. Okay, our first poll taken last week for TI Tuesday. After everything we discussed, do you believe current systems are doing enough to investigate trafficking and exploitation? The results, drum roll please, 42% of you said no, major gaps exist. 17% said progress is being made, but I suspect those 17% might be working for the PR department of the status quo. And in our second poll from the What's Going On news series last week, we asked you guys, with gas hitting $119 a barrel, how are we getting around? Let's review the options. Walking, which is free cardio, also character building. Subscription-based horse, because why not go medieval? Emotional support snacks, honestly, I think that's very valid. And staying at home, period. Current results, 25% across the board, guys, which tells me one thing. Nobody knows what they're doing. And we're all coping equally. Oh my goodness, I love you guys. Thank you for your voting on LinkedIn. I appreciate all of my supporters and voters. And I love the fact that you guys are so transparent with me. That brings us to my random thoughts. And I subtitled it Demons and Drewski. Now, guys, I'm going to lighten the mood a little bit with my coveted random thoughts. because the world is doing the most right now. Let's start with Drewski's parody of Erica Kirk, which is